The thing that actually kicked me, that got me working on this, was I was building a prosthetic hand for amputees. That's another area where I like to work. And it was going to be the ultimate hand, lighter weight, mechanical multiplexer, meaning that it just has one motor but can still do multiple grasps. And it was going to solve all the problems in the industry and be like, you're not going to become rich that way, but that's not the goal, right? It's just to give everyone who needs a hand a better hand than they ever had. It's so cheap that they could just buy it, right? You don't have to go and spend $20,000 through your insurance company and hope that they reimburse it. But you build that hand, and I start talking to some of my friends who are amputees, who I knew from a previous job. And I said, okay, look at this hand. And they said, no, we don't want it, because every year there's more startups building hands that have more motors and more complexities. And pretty soon they can play the piano and tie a shoelace, but they're still controlled with one input, like a space bar, basically. They have open and close. And if you tense in a certain way, you can change the channel and say, okay, now it's a three-jog chuck. Now you can tense a couple more times and turn it into a lateral grasp, and you can kind of change the TV channels, right? Volume only works on one channel at a time, so we have a channel changer. So that gives you just a few buttons that lets you control a lot of things. But the problem with that is it's sequential. You can't go tap, 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 tap to play a song, right, with your hand. You have to go first finger mode, tap, second finger mode, tap. So it's serial, it's not parallel. And that slows people down. And so they didn't want a new hand until we solved this. So I said, well, darn, I still really want to make my hand, but now this interface thing, I'm very obtuse about this. It was just a nuisance. I said, okay, let's just get this out of the way. I want to build this hand. So I made a new interface, a new thing. And it was just to unblock me. I was being willfully lazy. But what I came up with when I started showing it to people, you know, the recurring feedback was, well, this could be for everybody. I mean, not just amputees, but I mean, it could help amputees, but it could help so many people. And therefore it is more responsible to start with something that's more venture scale, so as the capital exists, so the development can happen. And eventually we can serve amputees, which is one of my, you know, longer term goals, to really give their systems higher fidelity control. But right now, yeah, we are just focusing on interfaces, which are the beginning and end point of any technology. Doesn't matter whether you're using Apple or Android or whatever, you're interacting with a computer through a gateway. It's a touchscreen, it's a keyboard, it's a mouse, it's a microphone, it's a camera. So we're not an Apple iPhone startup. We're more like Logitech, right? Logitech has webcams and keyboards and mice everywhere, and they don't care about the battles of the gods between the large tech companies. They say no matter what happens, every company on earth will be buying truckfuls of our interface equipment to make the best use of this stuff. And that's where I see us going.
That's cool. So the whole idea for PeKe actually came out of a feature from a robotic hand.
Yeah. I was just, because, you know what I say, if you could make it possible for someone with no fingers to tie their shoelaces, you should probably try to sell those shoelaces to everyone else also, because those are amazing shoelaces. Right, that's like Marty McFly stuff. Right. I mean, if you could do that, it's huge. And there's so much tech that started there. The electric toothbrush is a big one. So if you have reduced mobility, it helps. And then everyone wanted it. Closed captions were obviously for people, you know, who couldn't hear well or couldn't hear at all. And now everyone watches everything with it on. Many apps are defaulting them on now. So there's this amazing bit of history here on, hey, if you can make it work for the underserved minority, everyone flocks to it because it's probably